Welcome to another episode of the 40 Culture Podcast, soccer podcast for us, by us, talking about the intersection of black culture and soccer. Got your boy here, Grego here. Got TK on the ones and twos over here. Team Chocolate, baby. What's good with you, man?
Same old. Happy to celebrate the culture. Word. Yeah, man, I missed the memo. I could have, we could have did this. Really wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what jersey I wanted to wear this week, so I'm gonna keep it to the motherland and everything, or at least wherever this dashiki was made from, because I doubt it was from Kenya. So we'll see what's good with it. But how's your week been going, man?
Good. Celebrated my daughter's first birthday, so kind of fired off. It was good. It's nice to be involved in this company with COVID, and we had like a group of maybe 20 people. Everyone was vaccinated, and actually, I think 2 people weren't vaccinated, but they wore masks the whole time.
Herd immunity. So we was all right. I mean, my invite must have got lost in the mail.
Yeah, but, all the culture invites got lost in the mail.
It's like, damn, man. Like, are we your hidden friends? Like, we don't talk about the soccer friends. We don't talk about them. Like, they're just over here in the cut. Like,
I couldn't invite a lot of people that I wanted to invite. So, pardon my apologies. Please don't take it.
Don't shun us. Show your true love for us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I got nothing but love. It was just one of those. I have a limited list of people that I can bring. I think out of maybe, I think I brought actually one friend there. That was Bobby Johnson. That's what's up, man. But yeah, thank you guys for checking us out this week. We are coming in a little late this week. A lot of stuff getting ready for this Columbus trip. But we appreciate you guys still checking us out on your favorite podcast apps: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audio Boom, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and the FTCUTD YouTube channel. You know what? I thought I had what's up? You thought?
No, I thought you said something. But
what?
I thought I had a real big show, but honestly, every time the Euro game played, it just kind of just kept pushing other shit to the side because, the round of 16, that shit was super duper uber lit. That shit was super turned, and I think that going into the quarterfinals, it definitely there's some surprises there, and definitely some huge names are out. Where do we start? Because I feel like we need to kind of recap the round of 16. I feel like nobody saw things going as explosively as they ended up being, because you had Denmark was asleep for one half. They blew up Wales 4-0. Italy got taken in extra time by Austria, but then they woke up in extra time and it was pretty much a wrap. What did we say 2 weeks ago about Netherlands? What do you 2 weeks? It was last week. It was last week. What did I tell you guys? You get Frank de Boer outside of the Netherlands, you're up shit's creek. And what happens? They went up shit's creek. All those wins at home didn't mean shit. Now, granted, the red card didn't help things, but I think that, one, they should have already had the lead before that red card. And Netherlands are out, and the Boers out again. Like it feels like a yearly tradition, unlike any other. The Masters and Frank de Boer getting fired because, well, no, parted by mutual consent. You guys might air quotes too, like. But another job that he's lost, and so we'll touch on that. Let's go over these games. Probably like the one simple game that I probably saw was Belgium knocking out defending champ Portugal 1-0, and it was at that point that the Euros got real turned. Because I mean real turned. Because Monday, Croatia and Spain. Did you watch this game?
Croatia and Spain? I missed. This is the only game I missed.
Okay. So, first of all, the missed kick by Unai Simon that led to Croatia's first goal. You did a back pass to the keeper. He misses it and just rolls all the way over to the net, and that gave Croatia a 1-0 lead.
Floodgate right there. That was the first goal.
Mm-hmm. And now from there, Spain scores 3 unanswered. Bop, bop, bop. And you're thinking that by the time the third goal happens, you're thinking, yeah, it's a done deal. It's about to be a wrap. Not so fast, my friend. Croatia scores, I think, twice in the last 10, 12 minutes to tie up the game. They go into extra time. And so it's three of going to extra time. Spain scores 2 goals to extra time, 5-3. Yeah. Then the big one. Spain, Switzerland. Man. First of all, France had no business losing this game. They had no business even let this even go to extra time. None.
Yeah.
And
actually in both games they gave up 2 goals in like 10 minutes. So
all things considered, I think you can definitely argue that France did not have a great Euro, because outside of that first game against Germany, all the other the games against Portugal and Hungary were draws. Yeah. And just like they thought they had this thing in hand. They had the rocket by Pogba. They had
that was goal though.
Benzema's second goal. That was class. That one, and I forgot the guy that scored for the second goal for Italy. Those two are probably one of my favorite goals of this tournament so far. But after that Pogba goal, you're thinking like, hey, France got this shit in the bag, and they managed to blow this shit.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the mood was in their favor. Pogba did his little dance, stomped on the grass.
He's like, whoa.
Stuffed out swag with neck. Yeah, basically. Just like Craig did.
Whoa.
The fact that this, like you said, went to extra time in the first place is kind of shocking. But I feel like, did Tony say something about Switzerland being the party?
I did.
Or was this, okay,
I did. Y'all, one of these days, y'all gonna start listening, man, because
it's not that we don't listen.
And because mind you, something happened today that I called too. So we're gonna get on that in a little bit too. But yeah, they take this thing to PKs, and of all people to miss, it is the Wonder Kid. It is the heir apparent. Kylian Mbappe missed. And I almost made that our cover this week. I almost did. Because I went through a couple pictures and I was like, that one was a pretty big moment. But this is why it's always tough to give teams, especially when they're coming off a big tournament win, like in France's case with the World Cup. You're like, everything looks good, but it's rare when you see that form hold for another tournament. Like what Spain did, that's some shit you probably won't see again for probably 30 years or something. But just for going back to back, which I think before Spain, the last team was France with 98 and 2000. But I think if you just look at it from the whole picture, like I said, from the first game to the game against Switzerland, it just wasn't a shot. It just, for some reason, it was like Luther's curl, just wasn't coming through all the way, and Switzerland popped in the mouth.
Yeah, it was good. The Swiss played well, man. They were energized. They wanted to win the match, to be fair. So, hats off to them first and foremost, because they certainly played more than they deserved it. France got to do better. Let's show both more defending.
Yeah,
I did say I won't dig into it as much as Greg did in terms of listening, but I did call it on Laurie.
Yeah. But there are a few spots that France could probably stand to use a bit of a refresh. I think there's probably a strong look at a strong look should happen with Uris. Now, given the quick turnaround between now and the World Cup next year, it probably won't happen, but it should. I think I think you said it with a lot of teams going into World Cup qualification, going off of what happened here, they have to look at their teams and be like, is this what we want to go with for the World Cup? Because there's not a lot of time to really waste, in the next year and a half.
Right. Yeah.
But I think you can say that about Portugal's old as shit. First off, they're old. They're old. And I know that, they have to, everything kind of has to revolve around Ronaldo, and I get that. But yeah, that I didn't realize that João Felix really didn't play a whole lot in the tournament. And I was like, that sounds like that shouldn't be the case. But trying to figure out him, trying to figure out Bruno, trying to figure out Bernardo Silva and Ronaldo, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like that.
They have some pieces, man. Honestly, but
they sound a lot like us.
Ronaldo.
They sound a lot like what we have going on with the U.S. Like, you have a lot of players coming up, but where do you put them, and they can't all start. And so you have to kind of figure out, okay, we have all this talent, but is everyone going to fit within a starting 11? Like, some guys might have to, bite the bullet and come off the bench. And, for some people, they might not be able to, their ego might not be able to take that. But it might be what's necessary for the overall benefit of the team, because it just doesn't work. And then, but yeah, I'm hoping that with Mbappe, that the backlash just leave a too sour of a taste for him, because he's still young. He's just like 22. So
this is good for him. Like, this is the perfect story. Like, he has to. I don't know. Just like this is perfect. This is like somebody wrote this in a book, movie where he fails and he has to overcome it,
But I think it's one thing like when you have that success so early in your career, and especially just in how social media is now, because Ronaldo didn't have the original Ronaldo didn't have to worry about that. Ronaldinho didn't he didn't get into like the very end. Zidane didn't catch that, but guys like him, Messi, Ronaldo, like they are right there in the thick of social media. So I just hope that they don't chew him up too hard to where like what, y'all gonna have this shit. Like I definitely want to see him bounce back and get to where he should be in the game, because it's obvious he's a talent, a great talent, and you don't want to see the trolls get to everybody.
Honestly, I'm not too concerned about the trolls. I think Mbappe's got a pretty solid head on his shoulders. That really isn't going to be something, hopefully, that breaks his shell too much. But I just think this is the perfect story arc for him, because, like you just kind of mentioned, he still has so much more to aspire to. He really hasn't done that much, club football wise.
Mm-hmm.
To have been a player to have won the World Cup at the age that he did, so he's got a long way to go. We'll see how it looks for him. He needs to leave PSG first of all.
You know what? Like I think that with this happening, I could see that happening to where he's like, I just need space, new environment to have a little bit of a breather between myself and France, and whether that's Madrid, somewhere in England, like it wouldn't shock me, but we'll see. So here's a part of the show where I have to ask: is it coming home? Whatever it is it coming home?
It's coming. It's coming. Oh, well, turn on the auto tune. Yeah, it's coming home, man. If nothing else, it's gonna be really, really, really the new pinnacle of comic England footballism. So either we win it all, or the new top of the mountain. And,
we're like, hey, we beat Germany. That's enough. We did it. Hey, that's our trophy. Like they're going to be the guys. Like, do that meme where the guys on the medal stand, they have their medal like all the way at like 8th place. Is like guy with the champagne kissing the chick and everything. Like, if they don't follow this through, that's going to be them. That's going to be them. Like, cool. You beat Germany finally, like for the first time in the knockout the knockout tournament since like 66, I think.
Pride.
Yeah. And so I get it. You got all that pent up release. Even Kane managed to score. I'm like, which
everyone's saying not a big player in football. A big.
Now, I do have a little bit of a problem with this. Because you see this guy over here to our, I think that's right, Raheem Sterling. This dude's been carrying away for most of the tournament. He scored in 3 games so far. And you know what happened yesterday, Tuesday, in the newspapers in England? You know who's on the cover? Harry Kane. Like, the funny part is that the one newspaper in England that had Sterling on the cover was the sun. The sun. And if y'all don't know, like how it is in England, like, you know, the sun usually doesn't shine lightly on the colors. So that's a big thing in itself. But all the papers want to make it about Kane when up until Tuesday, he hadn't done shit. He hadn't done shit. And like you got this guy over here.
That match. He barely touched the ball in the first half. If it actually touched the ball. And then in the second half, pretty much a missing man behind the line.
That's always the thing about, you know, that's the catch-22 for a lot of players. You can have a excuse me. You can have a shitty ass game for the most part, but if you get the right touch or two, it's like, man to match. Harry Kane. I'm like
a lot of that white city here, not white. So I mean, I'll say it, but
say it.
Yeah.
No, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre, just like how, especially like because I've been listening to a lot of Sirius XMFC during the tournament, and how they talk about Sterling. I'm like, because they try to correlate his club form this past season with what's happening now. And I'm like, you can't necessarily overlap the two because you're dealing with largely a whole different set of players as compared to what you have with your club, and how he with England may not be necessarily the same as how he with City. And I think that by and large, he stepped up pretty much during all the games. Like Scotland, and that's because it was Scotland, and everybody kept butting heads. But all the other games, he's been there. And, you know, to make it about Kane when he's basically been absent for every last game, including this one, you get that one great, got like a grace of a header. And it's like, he's our hero. He's our hero. That's it. It's on now. It's coming home. Like, no. Like that just kind of annoyed me a whole lot. That, you know, you're not giving this guy over here his flowers when they say he stepped big time. But yeah, like, and then last but so we didn't want to make sure we forget about you. The blue and gold game, Sweden versus Ukraine. That one I think also went extra time, and Ukraine won that 2-1. So we got some interesting matchups in the quarterfinal. We got Spain and Switzerland, and Belgium and Italy on Friday. That's probably that might be the best match we got left.
Should be.
Yeah. And then we got Czech Republic and Denmark, and Ukraine and England. So how are we looking? What are you thinking?
As far as this bracket?
Yeah.
Sailing, man. Yeah.
So who we got with Switzerland and Spain?
Swiss.
Okay.
It's Spain or old one.
Until Spain figures out, you know, and can get some consistency up front, it's hard to pick them. It's hard to pick them. Like it sounds easy when you just think of the name, but when you actually look at them and look at them up close, you're like, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Even with that, it's like they still got a lot of guys missing, like who haven't showed up this tournament. Spain has. And,
yeah.
Like I'm really surprised Croatia pulled that out. To be fair.
Yeah. You know what?
Really.
It's funny because I watched that game and we thought Croatia pretty much like out of gas. Just that's when those last goals happened and taking the time. You know, like they're another team that we were talking about earlier. Like they got to look at their roster going forward because they got some old and they had to give them one last push for the World Cup or.
Yeah. It's honestly the same with Belgium. The same with.
I think Belgium they definitely had the legs for one more tournament. Like, of course, I think it's probably at their peak. This is probably their peak right here.
World Cup like for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Who were they talking about? I heard somebody talk about some golden generation. I was like, hang on, is there a real golden thing? I think it might have been.
It's because it's golden in the sense because the individual players have won accolades themselves. It's the same way that they describe.
I think we get a little too loose with that golden generation because unless you actually achieve something with that team. I mean, granted, the hype is there, but at the same time, you still have to follow through. Otherwise, what you think is gold, really just bronze and probably just copper. So, yeah, I think that definitely, at least for Belgium, this is probably their best generation ever, but they still got to follow through. I think, they still got to step up, and the way Italy's playing, that's going to be real, real tough.
Yeah,
tough. I think if Hazard and De Bruyne are out, I think Italy takes this.
Well, Hazard broke. Have you listened to his interview? He broke 3 times at Madrid.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Madrid ain't for everybody. That's all I can say. Like, it's funny because like today marked the anniversary of when Kaká, his player from Brazil, when he signed for Real Madrid. This is like 2009, y'all. So like they signed Kaká, they signed Ronaldo, and they signed Benzema all like within a week and a half. Like, yeah, we're just gonna go on a spending spree. Buy what you want, but they got DJ Khaled when they say like go buy my house, go buy your whole midfield in one summer. Just go ahead and do that quick. But like of course you saw like Kaká, like he never really quite turned out because he stayed hurt too. Like Madrid ain't for everybody. It's just not. Like for them, like luckily for them, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but I think for Hazard, yeah, it just hasn't quite turned out. And now
I feel like this will great opportunity for brother Dorgan to show up.
He stepped up. He stepped up.
He's been a help player for Borussia Dortmund this last.
No, hold on. Is he a Dortmund or Mönchengladbach?
Dortmund.
Okay.
He was at Mönchengladbach.
Gotcha.
Mönchengladbach. It was another German team that or it was all up because
Gotta love that pipeline. Got to love that pipe.
Yeah, that was actually part of the student. Also, to have his
bring my bro, bruh. Bring my bro. But yeah, he's definitely stepped up and definitely I think helped offset not having Eden at full form, and also with
it's a wrap for him. I'm trying to say it's a wrap. So Belgium be a team. I think put his brother in. think KDB can win through and play some pivotal moments. I think they can beat Italy.
I think they can. That one's not a sure. It's definitely because the talent's too overwhelming at Belgium to just say no. I think that Italy's still, their defense still ironclad without Chiellini. I feel like they finally gave up their first goal against in the last game, and I think they're still riding high, but it's definitely gonna be tough. But that's it. That one's definitely gonna be a big one to watch. Czech Republic and Denmark.
It's over. Magic of Christian Eriksen runs out.
That was a question. I'm gonna ride the sentimental favorites and go Denmark. And if England doesn't beat Ukraine, I'm gonna just say this.
Jersey's on the neck.
Gareth Southgate needs to go ahead and just find a job in Luxembourg or something, because it damn sure won't be with England. So,
yeah.
But I do think that this is their one game where they actually have to leave England, if I'm not mistaken. Because
they're going.
They're going to Rome. They're going to Rome. So that's at least they go to a nice city and everything. But yeah. So English should have that one. But yeah, the last couple of games have just been incredible. And again, I told y'all so on the board. Told y'all so. Y'all need to
wish you would have gotten hired at Tottenham. But
you know what? Y'all, and again, y'all need to listen to me, because who did I say Spurs should hire? Who did I say?
Smart. They chose someone. I mean, to be fair,
I said Nuno.
You're right. You absolutely did. But to be fair, here's how this thing went. It wasn't.
Oh, now that part is absolutely hilarious. Go ahead.
So this didn't just start on Nuno, and Spurs just made a wise decision. They played literally the whole Wheel of Fortune, stopped at every tick, just to see. Oh, can we sign this manager? Oh, can we get this guy on the board, and then we can sign this guy to be a manager because they're buddies? Oh, come on with it. It was laughable, completely laughable. Spurs are a shithole.
Nuno was like plan D.
They're all trying to actually get Ted Lasso on it.
Because I think they tried to go for Gattuso. That didn't work. I forgot who the first person was, and that didn't work. And because we've been talking about the past few weeks, Spurs is in a real funky position right now because they wasted so much time with Pochettino that you basically went through 2 cycles with largely the same core, and now they're starting to age out, and they want to get trophies before they get too old. So they're like, yeah, I'm not sticking around for this shit. And I think that for where they're probably about to be in the next 2 or 3 years, they need someone that's going to be patient and ride with them. And I think that Nuno is exactly the right person for that, because you saw what happened with Wolves. I think that they kind of ran into a wall of where what got you here won't get you there, and they realized, we thought we could stop with the big dogs, and not so fast. But that happens. But I think that Spurs, if they got their shit together after all this, that's a damn good spot for Nuno. Damn good spot. Also, in Liverpool, on the blue side of town, a familiar face is heading back to the city.
Gross.
Oh man, Rafael Benitez, Rafa. So you know what? I'm about to go from blood to crip, and coach Everton. Granted, it's been like what, a good 10, 11 years since he coached Liverpool. Was he coached them to the um 05 Champions League title, which the famous game in Istanbul against AC Milan. Got them back to the final 2 years later. Then he lost to Milan. But I think like ever since he left Liverpool, he's kind of been on a wandering journey. He managed to go through Chelsea, managed to go back home to Real Madrid. You know, managed to go to Newcastle, which how Newcastle managed to screw that one up, I will never understand because he was way out of their league. But that's just so weird. I feel like there's some hostility from that Chelsea run. It's like, no, fuck this guy. I can fuck this guy.
Yeah, fat waiter.
Oh, well, before one last note on the. Say that one more time.
I don't even know how he slithered himself into that job. Like seriously,
that's another case of where he failed up. Because at that point, because that before or after Madrid?
Where? Chelsea?
When he Rafa went to Chelsea
After Madrid.
Yeah. So at that point, you're like, yeah. At that point, you're like, how does that even work?
Yeah, I mean, he won the Europa League, which was like exactly. He basically jumped on the train from a helicopter and had the code to stop the train before it got to the tracks. That's what happened. But, give a prize. Give a prize, everyone.
You know, I'm very curious to see, just that first Merseyside derby against Liverpool. And mind you, of course, I don't think there's anything about next season yet as far as fans go, but I'm pretty sure it'll at least be half full, and I'm pretty sure that half of Anfield will be like, fuck this guy, fuck him, fuck off all the way. Because as we said before, we'll say it 100 times, rivals stay rivals, and that's just a move you don't do, B. Like, it'd be one thing if he had never won trophies with Liverpool, but he did, and some big ass trophies. So it's like, yeah, it's like you're like, I'm pretty sure that even just the average Liverpool fan, like you're slumming it over there. You're slumming it. So, but one last note on the Euros, because one that we didn't get on was Germany. So with Germany's loss to England, this is pretty much the last game for a lot of guys for Germany, including their head coach Jogi Löw. And 15 years at that job, that is a long ass time. Probably too long. I know, like, for a lot.
Security right there.
Say what?
Job security right there.
I think that he came up on that's the definition of golden generation, because like he came up on, you had Hummels, you had Neuer, you had Ozil, you had Kroos, you had who else? Muller, like Boateng, like you had a murderer's row, like a whole core right there that basically came up with that 2010 team, won the World Cup in 2014. But I almost feel like they probably lament this a little bit, just because with as much talent as they had it at their peak, you would have thought they would have won more. I think like people are saying that now about France. Of course, they're still they're still within their window, but I feel like because I think they made it like what they had the 08 final, they had the 10 semifinal, Euro 2012 semifinal, the 2014 final, which they won, and I think they were still in the semis 2016, and then all of a sudden everything went to shit in 2018. And I think that with going that deep in so many tournaments and only coming out with one, it's like, could have had a little bit more. A little bit more.
I hate it when they eat all the peanut butter and put the jar back in the cabinet.
And like I was talking about it on Twitter the other day after the game, because you have all those guys that I think that by and large, like we've been talking about on this episode, they're more than likely they're done. I think Neuer's done. I think the Boateng's already been out. Hummels is probably out. I think at most you might keep Cruz and Muller, maybe.
All the guys are keeping are on the bench.
Yeah, and I think that
kind of like Cruz, Muller, maybe like Rudiger.
How old is Rudiger?
28.
Oh yeah, he'll be fine. Like no, mind you, he's a bit of a bully. But I think you'll still factor in. But yeah, like basically all those guys that were there for 2010, they're all but done. But I do still have to give them a salute because for a while you wouldn't have been able to think that anybody could beat them, and then Yo-Yo was the quintessential Batman quote. He stayed long enough to become the enemy. He stayed long enough to become the enemy because in most cases you don't see coaches stay that long. I know like Germany's kind of like they're kind of different from other countries where like at most you might get 2 cycles, where in this case he was going on that was 10, 14, 18. He was going on his 4th cycle. Right? So that's something that I think that going forward, they might want to keep an eye on. Just you have to keep fresh eyes on that. And I think as what this new generation is coming up, I think that he didn't know how to transition from what he had before to this generation, and that's why they are where they are right now. Now, to their credit, they have players coming up, and I think that they're going to reload pretty fast. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, the next Euros are in Germany, so best believe they're going to be coming in with their best foot forward, going into the next cycle to where they're already. I wouldn't even rule them out for 2022, but definitely by 2024, they're going to be humming fast. No? Maybe?
No, I agree. They have a really good young talent. Musala, the midfielder came in for like a late substitute. He's pretty talented. Had a really good previous season. But it will be a shame to see like players like Leon Goretzka leave and kind of disappear over the hill, if you will. They need a refresh, so they got the players there to kind of to stem that. They can replace the Muellers with the Sanes, and they already have the Kai Havertz is to refill the Ozil spots. So they'll be fine. Not to mention Timo. Yeah, they'll score.
Absolutely. So, so this is probably going to be a shorter episode than normal. Like we've been going long the past few weeks, but we're getting ready for this trip up to Columbus next week. Well, this weekend, because it's the other Independence Day this weekend, and I'm actually looking forward to it. Like we've been shout out to my homie Ty Phillips that he's been coordinating everything with us the past few weeks. Like honestly, all I want to do is just kind of go as a fan, like kind of just taking that experience. Obviously with the opportunities that we have with the podcast, it definitely creates more avenues as far as what we can do and what we can create there. And but I definitely think that just the whole moment of going into this new era with the crew, with that logo, that damn logo. But I definitely think that this is a watershed for them, and as well as MLS as well. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm getting on the road Friday morning. Part of me is even still debating leaving tomorrow night, but I'll at least be on the road by Friday. And yeah, all of you guys out there in Columbus, definitely holler at me. I'm still waiting to hear back if Rashad's gonna hop on the road with me. But yeah, no, I know at least I'll be there through the weekend. And I'm hoping to get a chance to talk to you guys, maybe get some stuff for the podcast, some special content. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. While you're here, though, definitely make sure that you support the podcast and get your merch at FTCUTD.myshopify.com. Get your name sets, get your hats, get your shirts, get whatever it is that you need. We don't cook, but we'll cook out some drip for you, though. We'll do that. We'll do that much for you. But I didn't think about it at the time. We might have a sale for 4th of July. I don't know. I mean, Juneteenth. It's the other Independence Day. It's the other one. The other. Because I feel like, especially now with Juneteenth being in a federal holiday now, there's gonna be all these stores. They're gonna be like, we just took all of our traffic, man, because now we gotta do sales for Juneteenth, and they won't have any money left for the 4th of July. They're gonna be bitching and shit. And I'm like, hey, it's what it is, player.
We'll see how this country chooses to celebrate Juneteenth.
Yeah. I think it was Ringo that brought it up like a year or two ago, just like in how the fear of making Juneteenth a federal holiday, and just like how they kind of do with 4th of July and Christmas, and how it kind of turns into another thing instead of what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think that we'll definitely see how everyone operates moving forward, going into future years. Before we get too down, just a reminder: Hawks Suns finals. We're almost there. But yeah, man. Let's get up in this. Well, there's only 2 of us, so I'm like, yeah, I can't really do the normal. Hold on. I got this one. Got you.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. What you got, man?
Put yourself on the other side. Can you do that?
Let me see it. No, I won't let me because I switched my camera.
PIP to the left.
No.
Center.
No. I'm right in your face that time, so no, I can't do that. I'll just look at you.
It's okay. It's all right. I don't have to look at this one. I do have one thing before we start with go up to comment. How in the world did Harry Maguire get man of the match?
I know it was a shutout, but like I said, they don't want to give it to Sterling, and it makes no they don't want to give him his flowers, and You don't think about it like right there in the moment because you're just like you're so excited. You don't think about it in the moment because you're just all hyped, but then you settle down. You're like, what? I'm surprised they didn't give it a cane, but just the fact that they recognized a shutout, which that part's cool too. But no, should have been Sterling.
I mean, really.
And they still won't play Sanchez, which is wild.
Honestly, it's not even McGuire, and it should have been Stone. If we're giving credit where credit's due.
Oh, and before we forget, because you know who's about to be a red now, baby. You know it's about to be a red now, baby. That is finally done. Sancho's about to be a red. But continue.
Yeah, doing on to the losers of the Europa League.
What? You know what? I'm gonna let you have it because at least y'all beat City. So go ahead.
Here's what it is.
Because y'all still fish below us. But continue.
Honestly, we might snap off of him on the fly. But getting into 2-2 down, like I mentioned earlier in the pod at the beginning, celebrated my daughter's birthday this past weekend, and it was fantastic. So humbled to be in the presence of so many people who showed their love for my family. And so, like I said, incredibly humbling. And it was a wonderful time to be around friends and family and just enjoy the moment. So I no longer have a baby. I got a toddler. Drinks milk now.
Dog.
Drinks milk.
Just wait till she turns 2. Just wait.
Yeah, and she took her first step.
Shit.
For the first time. Like, man, it's great. Great. I could go on. All my ups are about my daughter this week. So, I do have downs. So, we are going into surgery on Friday. And, so just wish us good vibes. Got surgery on Friday. I run up to it and then 5 a.m.
Shit.
So, for a week-long recovery. So, take all the good vibes and appreciate all the healing. Any of those thoughts that you can send our way, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be great.
Outside of that, kind of combo my ups and my downs. And I guess we'll leave it on a positive note. For Grego going up to this is going to be our first culture trip post-pandemic.
Yeah. The last time we did was Richmond, and
shout out to Grego making things happen for the culture, being our lead correspondent representative here. It's I'm tied down. I got a baby. Quiet.
It's this is a big deal. It's it's a big enough deal that I'm actually getting business cards for. So I'm like, because I'm sure there'll be dignitaries and possibly even some celebs there, and people that we've connected with through social media. They've been in touch, looking to connect while we're up there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited for this trip. Like I said last week, it was my first time to Ohio, and we're gonna see how this thing rolls. But is that my cue to switch up?
No. I was just when you were talking, I was just adoring you can wear it in the summer, folks. We're just sweating it.
Especially if you want to lose weight like me. Yeah, go ahead and wear your hoodies in the summer.
Hey, I guess there's another up. I'm down 25 pounds. I didn't meet my goal to lose all of my dad weight before the 1 year mark, but I am down 25 pounds.
Well, send that vibe my way because I got a lot of work to do over here,
man. Smoothies. Real talk smoothies. I skip lunch. Smoothies.
Where? Anyway, so you got
swap it up.
All right. As far as this week goes, I think I have a just an up in general, like just with being able to connect with the fans up in Columbus this weekend, be able to connect with peers this weekend, and just the opportunity to create moments. I'm a big believer in living the experience, I guess you could say, just in trying to take in everything that happens when it comes. And I'm hoping that this weekend up in Columbus, it's nothing but good vibes. Hoping that all of you that'll be up there will be able to connect, get a drink, possibly even two. But it should definitely be a really good time. A follow up from last week's Two Up, Two Down. I actually did not make it to North Carolina last weekend, and I'm pissed off about that because my car has some issues Thursday morning when I was supposed to leave. So I ended up staying here all weekend. I'm trying to reschedule things so I can go see my grandma next month, probably towards the end of next month. But this is a minor setback for a bigger goal in the end. But other than that, let me check my notes real quick. Talk about yourselves real quick. I know there was one thing I wanted to. The women's national team, the Olympic team roster came out. We will talk about that in a couple weeks, but just know, at least the initial announcement was some heavy bullshit. I think they just announced today that the standbys are not going to be included in the final roster, but that still kind of fucked things up for some people who really should have got more consideration, i.e. Mitch. But also love and prayers to the people out in Miami. I don't know if y'all saw in the news the condo that fell in the middle of the night of Miami. I think there's at least 30 people that were missing out of that collapse. That shit was kind of wild to see, and only reinforces my belief that I would never live in a high rise. That shit just looked absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, man, I heard about that today. They up the death toll. Fortunately, I think I saw 18.
And it's not so much an up, but just again, I told you so. DeBoer, Nuno, listen to Grego. God and Grego are trying to tell you something right now. Listen to me. But I did actually before I get to the last part, Scottie Pippen. Scottie damn Pippen. That's a I don't even know if that's a I don't know what the fuck that is, but he accused his old coach Phil Jackson of being a racist because he let Tony Kukoc try to get the final shot in '94 against the Knicks. First of all, somebody needs to go check on Scottie. Somebody needs to go check on Scottie real quick, because if you saw the interview, right now everything looks like a whole mess right now, and I don't know if his wife messing around again and he's just in a bad place right now. But the way the interview went with Dan Patrick, he just kind of talking all different ways instead of being straightforward. But just a quick note on that game. If you remember that game, especially the moments that led up to that last minute shot, you would know that Scottie took two bad shots within a minute. The Knicks were down by I think 4 or 5. they took those, they got the rebounds from those misses, tied it up, and that's what led to the Bulls having to take a last second shot to win the game. So if not for him, they wouldn't have been in that position to have to take that shot. So there might have been other things that Phil Jackson has done since that have been mad questionable, but that moment is bullshit. But somebody go help Scotty, please. Do that for the culture. But just one last remark. For those of y'all who have been following the news, Bill Cosby was let out of prison today off of some wild technicalities, because apparently the district attorney of Pennsylvania had assured him back in 2005, well before charges were ever officially brought on him, that he wouldn't be tried. And according to that, they were able to use that to say, like, hey, he shouldn't have been prosecuted and charged in the first place. I don't know how you could be that. I'm not even sure what the word for it there is for it, but there's definitely a lot of survivors out there that were owed justice and now won't be able to get that justice because you were trying to protect your elite. And I get that to an extent, but at the same time, clearly there was a case brought and he was found guilty. So I think it's safe to say that he did something, and he should have been held fully accountable for that. And that just sucks. And what sucks even more is my original wife, Felicia Rashad, was on Twitter today, in support of him, and luckily she had her comments turned off, because everywhere else she was getting roasted bad. And I get it. When you have that close relationship, you want to protect those that you're close to, but yeah, I don't think that was a smart move. But I know, to all the survivors out there, whether it be from him or just in general, rape and sexual assault, hopefully wherever you are in life, you seek out the healing that you need, because no matter what, that's what you're owed. You're owed that healing, and whether it's through these people getting held accountable for their crimes, all I can wish for all of you out there is healing. But it's a bit of a somber note to this episode, but I know that needed to be said, and hopefully you guys know where we're coming from with that. But again, this weekend we will be out Columbus. At least me, Mayor Kane hopefully will be with me. TK will be, tending to the home. Coach will be Coach's car broke down in Tampa, so we got to make sure that we get him back, in the trap by next week. But hopefully you guys will be back with us next week as well. As always, you can catch us on the socials at FTCUTD, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you support the pod. Buy some merch at FTCUTD.com.
Freaking merch, guys. You just heard Grego say Coach's car is broke down. Hit us up at the Cash App, man.
We actually do have the Cash App, $ FTCUTD. We actually do have that.
There you go. We need to get another battery for his hybrid.
Yeah.
Right. It's a hybrid.
I don't know how that managed to happen, because I'm like, look, it's a hybrid. It's not supposed to break down.
Well, see, like going on the sand, man. You can't do that in your car.
I'm saying, man. But get back to us soon, Coach. Again, we will see y'all this weekend in Columbus. Let's have some fun. Let's be safe out here. Have a great other Independence Day for everybody else. But until next week, with Grego. I mean, I did. But for TK, for Coach, for Mayor, it's Grego. Coach is real. Coach is everywhere. See y'all soon. And we out.
This is an Alliance podcast.